So today I want to talk about custom labels. Custom labels are easily one of my favorite um, Google Shopping attributes to segment necessary products by. And what a custom label is it's a special label that you can put on products that you want to split out that is outside of the regular segmentation in Google Shopping. So typically, we spoke about this in other episodes, but typically the way we structure a Google Shopping campaign is, by product type or brand. Those are the two that are most common. So, if you sell kitchen knives, for example, we would segment by product type in the sense where you would have, one campaign, you'd have an ad group for bunka knives. You'd have an ad group for um, uh, chef's knives. You'd have an ad group for the various different knives um, that have the product type label, or you might segment by brand. So again, with the knives example, you'd have Shun, which is a brand. You'd have Shun as an ad group. You'd have Wusthof as an ad group, and that's segmenting by brand. Now, sometimes within that structure, we need to segment a little further, and using custom labels allows us to do that. So I'll give you an example. In the context of a sale, right? In your brand or your product types, you might have products peppered in there that are on sale, but not all of them, right? A third of the products might be on sale. And for sale products, usually because your margins are lower, the return on ad spend target is a little bit higher, right? If normally, at your 45% profit margin, you can afford a 250% return on ad spend. When you put it on sale and you're at 30% profit margin, that return on ad spend now needs to be 300% or 350%. And it's important to segment those products out so you could bid accordingly, maybe offering a little bit of a lower bid on them. So the way that you do this is by applying a custom label and breaking it out. So custom label is done at the merchant center level, right? And I won't get too into how to apply it because it all depends on how you populate your product feed. If you use a feed management software, if you do it manually, it'll all be different buttons to push. But essentially, you can say, I want to apply a custom label. Think custom label as like just a label, right? To any product that has the tag sale. So I'll ask the client, okay, put all your products that are on sale, give them a tag, and something you can do in any e-commerce website, right? Shopify makes it easy. Put a tag on it that says sale, and then I will go into Merchant Center and I'll say any product that has a tag that says sale or is part of a collection that is the sale collection, apply this custom label. Okay. And then that allows me to create an ad group where instead of picking product type or picking brand, I'm going to pick custom label one where I made it sale, and I'm going to segment by these sale items, and all those sale items will be in that ad group. Now, we spoke about this in the past, but one of the things you always want to do, there's a little trap door when you do this. Every time you select uh, any um, any segment, we product type or brand or custom label, you always need to go back into the product group and exclude that everything else line. You'll see your products. Yeah, you'll see the sale line item with, you'll see how many products are populated there, and then that's enabled. Then right under that, you'll see everything else, all your other products. And Google automatically makes it enabled, which just means all your products are in that ad group. So always exclude the everything else. Now, this goes the other way though. Now it's time for us to exclude those sale products from our other ad groups. And this is where it's a little bit tricky. So it's going to be kind of tough to explain, but bear with me. Maybe turn the podcast on slow motion. But what you do is when you go into your other ad groups, you're going to go to, the you have to kind of take two steps back on how you segmented it, where you initially, on your all products tab in your products groups, you hit that little pencil icon and you picked product type. You need to go back to that first level, and you're gonna segment by your custom label first. So you're going to pick that custom label that we want to exclude, okay? And then you're going to see that page again where it says that line item for the custom label, which is sale, and under it a line item for everything else. Now in this moment, this is where we're going to exclude sale and we're going to include everything else, okay? So sales excluded, everything else is included. Now, this is where we need to take it one step further. On that everything else line, you're going to hit that plus button again, and this is where we go to segment. Okay, product type, you can pick the knives you want, whatever. You pick the product type that you want that has sale excluded because it's in the everything else category. Uh, and then you select that, and then you exclude everything else after that, because then it'll be another line of, okay, you've got your bunka knives, and then you've got everything else. You exclude everything else, and now you have just the product type that you selected minus the sale products in that category. So I hope that wasn't too confusing, but that is how we use custom labels to segment sale out of a out of an ad group or campaign. Now, I also like to use custom labels in sometimes to break out products that I don't want to exclude from the base campaign. So I'll give you an example. If you've got products that have higher profit margins, so let's say we'll use the knife example. Let's say within our knives, there are a few knives in peppered along our ad groups, our product types that we get better profit margins on. But it's not clean cut like, oh, this product type gets better profit margin and that one doesn't. It's like within a product type, maybe 3 or 4 products are like really good profit margins. You want to push those further, right? So in this context, what I would do is I would get the client on their website backend to apply a tag or make a collection of the products that you get higher margins on, so I can identify them. Then in Merchant Center, I'll make a custom label for those products, and then I'll create another campaign with that custom label, right? With that custom label, but I won't exclude them from the base campaign. And the reason is the two campaigns will kind of share the data. And sometimes what happens when you've got all your products in one campaign, Google doesn't know that one product has better profit margins. And if it's not necessarily getting a good return on ad spend, it might forget about that product. It might start serving it less for whatever reason, or just serve it equally to other products that have worse profit margins. By separating it out, you're going to force ad spend on it. It will collect data, and theoretically you could exclude it from the other campaign and just separate it on its own, but in all honesty, I don't. I keep it in the base campaign, especially if it's just like a small set of products. I keep it in the base campaign. I put more dollars on those products in this segmented campaign and just let them both run. And then you can observe how that product overall lifted. I'm going to give you one more good example of when I like to use custom labels. I recently completely changed actually how I structured a um, a fashion brand's Google ad structure based off custom labels because previously, we had the structure based off of garment type, So in a campaign, we had blouses as an ad group, shirts, skirts, every product type had an ad group. But I got thinking and fashion brands are seasonal, right? This brand would release a collection every season, fall, winter, spring, and truly it's the seasons of the products that would have a rise and a fall. And of course, when you have things segmented by the product type of the garment type, all those collections are peppered through it, right? So in blouses, we would have all of the blouses. So that's the spring, the summer, the fall, the new collection in there. And we wouldn't be able to bid accordingly based off of inventory or based off of, when you release a bunch of new products, because it's new, the algorithm doesn't really know what to do with it. So sometimes it might hold off on it, but you really need to push inventory because demand is there. So what we ended up doing was we made a custom label for every collection type. So I just made so they already had the collections in Shopify, spring 2024, summer 2024. Each collection had each seasonal collection had its own Shopify collection. So I made a custom label for that. Now we have an ad group for each collection, and I monitor how those collections kind of rise and fall in popularity and return on ad spend. And as we transition out of a season, if the algorithm doesn't start pulling back on it soon enough, I will do it manually and bid it down. So that's another example of how I use custom labels to structure an account based off of how the products should be managed. It doesn't always have to be brand or product type. So I hope that was helpful. Give custom labels a try. They can be really great for segmenting out sale products or pulling certain products out to drive more spend to, or possibly restructuring a whole campaign based off product type. So feel free to reach out if you have any other questions.